Well, I hope everyone is having a wonderful Monday thus far. Just wanted to jump on here, kind of give a little update on different news items that's going on right now on the environmental side. Wherever is still much in the forefront of environmental news around the Scioto Valley, simply because nobody knows what's going to happen with the two Pixel paper plant collector wells. Now that the new nitrile glove maker has moved in, um, I doubt they will need those collector wells and the mass amounts of water that they were producing for the paper plant. Now, I could be wrong. I could absolutely be wrong, but I just have a suspicion that there's going to be a situation that arises here in the very near future regarding those collector wells. Now, I reached out to US Medical Glove LLC, the new company that owns the paper mill, about that very issue, if they're even aware of the importance of collector wells 17 and 18 and how it holds back a toxic carcinogen plume under the old Wherever site in Chillicothe along Eastern Avenue. So I reached out to them, but all I got was crickets. No response on what they plan on doing. And I haven't seen any recent EPA documents other than Howmet, the owner of the Wherever site along Eastern Avenue. The only thing I've seen is Howmet's ground water monitoring sampling, which once again shows levels exceeding federal limits. In fact, we saw TCE concentrations higher in 2025 than ever in the history of the 30 years since it's been shut down. We've seen a spike over 600 times legal limit. We're also seeing vinyl chloride in higher quantities than we've ever seen at the site. Now, the reason why we're seeing vinyl chloride is when TCE begins to break down, it breaks down into an even nastier chemical called vinyl chloride. Most of the state of Ohio knows about vinyl chloride from the East Palestine train derailment, where it was decided to flap it off and ignite those tankers of vinyl chloride and burn them off, releasing very deadly, toxic carcinogens into the atmosphere, into the air. So, with that being said, we're seeing the TCE, the plume, breaking down to vinyl chloride, but we're not seeing it break down further into a more safer chemical compound. It's seeming to be stuck in this process, and we're seeing vinyl chloride numbers increase at Wherever higher than it's ever been before. And vinyl chloride is a dangerous carcinogen, but we're not seeing EPA, we're not seeing Howmet come up with a reason why the TCE is breaking down into vinyl chloride and then just stopping and pooling vinyl chloride in this plume. We're not hearing a response from Howmet or their so-called environmental engineers and scientists about that issue, and we're not seeing the EPA bring that up. Now, I posted that online about Wherever, about the situation, and how we're not getting definitive answers, but we're seeing these increases. Now, granted, Howmet did claim that this was a seasonal thing, that maybe more rain than usual is what led to the higher numbers, or the slowing down of the pixel pumping due to a pending closure. They came up with all kinds of excuses, but nothing is scientifically sound as to reason why we're seeing the highest spikes ever in 30 years in 2025. That tells us there's still a problem and it needs to be addressed. So that's kind of the environmental headline when it comes to Wherever is things have not changed at the site. The questions still remain on what happens with the paper plant's collector wells 17 and 18 and how the plume will move and spread if they shut those wells off, which, like I said, I don't know for a fact, but I imagine it's going to happen. unless somebody else needs large amounts of water, because from what I've gathered and what I've heard, they're only going to use a portion of the paper plant, not the entire 400 acres. And the rest of it's going to be redeveloped for other companies, other uses that we don't know what it could be. We don't know what other possible hazardous waste streams they could bring into the community that's already suffered so much, already has some of the highest cancer rates in the entire state of Ohio. We don't know. But what we do know is wherever is still a toxic threat, and we can't forget about it. We can't lose sight of that. There's still danger, and Howmet Aerospace needs to clean up that site. So I just want to jump on here today and kind of give a little rundown on more information about Wherever, especially the monitoring report that I posted online. These are numbers we haven't seen before at this site, and it's clear in a chart. One particular well, it spiked higher than it has in 30 years, and that is troubling. And that tells us that Howmet has to do more than what they are currently doing to not remediate the site, not clean up the site, just to monitor the site and contain. Because their limited action plan, that's what it called for, the bare minimum. And that's what we've gotten. And here we are 30 years later, and the bare minimum just don't cut it anymore. Y'all have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful work week. And I'll be making another video here soon and jumping back on here and giving you some more updates.